Hello, 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 Love Revolution beloveds. Y'all, every single time I get to interview somebody, I am so delighted. Y'all know my mission is 8 billion people loving 8 billion people, one heart at a time. And every single time somebody says, yes, I want to be a part of the Love Revolution interview series, it makes my heart so happy. Today is extra, extra, extra special because I could literally do both sides of this conversation. I know this lady so well, and she knows me so well. And I have watched her lead with love from the very second that I met her. I'm going to be introducing y'all to Teri Houghton. She is my director of operations, which sounds very fancy, like Love Revolution is this billion-dollar company that has a director of operations. I just want you to know that all the strategy and everything that we're doing at Love Revolution, it is all under the leadership and expertise of Teri Houghton. So, with that, welcome to Love Revolution. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited because I love
Oh,
you and I'm
I
just
love you.
excited to do this. It's going to be fun. It's going to
Yes,
be fun.
absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so folks know a little bit about what I just said about me, director of operations. But what's so great about that is it shows up in a bazillion different ways for different people that you work with. So, can you talk about how your love center, your love leadership in both your personal and your professional life? And you can start with either personal or professional if you want to.
So I think for me is love is the grounding place of how I want to treat people both in my personal life and my business life. I really want to love people well. I want them to be seen and heard. And I just find that that's just that's a good way to live life with the people that I love that are in my house. And it's a good way to love on women that I work with.
Yes, 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 yes. And you do that in such phenomenal ways because that's the thing about love. When we like in Love Revolution, our definition is letting others voluntarily evolve and letting ourselves voluntarily evolve. So when you see people, you're letting them voluntarily evolve. So the things you do for me in Love Revolution look very different than what you may do for some of your other clients. And yet you have this vast array of expertise that you can say, okay, I can do this, this, and this for you. And if you need this other thing that's like, way over here, I can do that too. It's just like you haven't asked for that, but my other client, that's all they want me to do. And
Right.
so that is how you love, but it's like love and strategy.
Yeah, it is. So strategy is my top strength in life. But
I didn't know that.
yeah, yeah, yep. So but I think my own past and history has felt the heart of when love is rejected, and I don't want people to feel that with me.
Mm,
So I think that life gives us lessons along the way that we need to look at and figure out. And we need to hold those lessons dear. And how do we do better than what's been done to us? And I think for me is love is something I do. It's not something I expect from somebody. So I feel like love is an action word, right?
yeah.
And so loving is something that I think we do to people without expectations of what comes back. And
Yeah.
I think that's true with client work, and it's true with me being a mom and a partner and all the different roles that I feel in life.
Yeah. 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 Because we talk about agape love, which is unconditional love, and love without expectations, that's unconditional love.
It
And so
is.
you're extending an agape love. You're extending that love that will make 8 billion people love 8 billion people because you see people and you see their dignity and you see their worth. And not having those expectations, when we start putting those expectations, those are conditions, which means it
Right.
goes from unconditional love to conditional love. I love you because you do this, this, and this. And we've all been on the receiving end of conditional love and how hurtful it is, just like you mentioned. And so being able to take that in and then extending it out, it's almost like you're almost like a love filter. Yeah, like the conditional love comes in that doesn't feel good. I'm going to filter it and it's going to come out unconditional.
Right. And I think unconditional love is hard to do, right? Like you really have to be present in the moment with who you are to love other people unconditionally. So I think it's probably one of the greatest lessons I've learned in my own life. I have three kids who are adopted, so their stories are hard. And I think that has been one of the greatest lessons that I have learned through them. I share their story with a birth mom. I'm not their only mom. I've never been, and I never will be, and that's fine. And sometimes when people come from hard places, unconditional love, you really have to learn to give of yourself and be like, it doesn't matter what I get back, but I'm going to love you every day for who you are.
Yes.
And I think that's been a theme through my life that has carried me into all these different seasons.
Yes.
And so, and I think with clients, unconditional love can be sometimes we work with people who are not like us or hard at sometimes, or, business owners are struggling because it's hard to run a business.
Mhm.
And it's just showing up time and time for them and being like, okay, we've got this. We'll figure it out. You're good. Nothing's falling apart. And
Yeah.
that's the way I want to show love on a professional level.
Yes, yes, yes. One of my favorite stories of you, and I have a million of them, but one of my favorite stories that I tell when I do my Leading with Love, when I speak on Leading with Love, is I talk about responsibility. The R in the group blueprint of Leading with Love is responsibility. And number one, how critical it is to delegate but never abdicate. And
Mhm.
number two, it's what is and is not our responsibility. And I talk about how it was not your responsibility to say to me at that time, coral and blue are not colors that are working. It was your responsibility to take these pictures that Trisha had done of me and create 10 social media posts. And
Yeah.
from that came the color scheme of red and black. Hello. Ta-da! And then I was like, I get to lean into red and black, even though I'm a bulldog. That's okay. And then to realize, like after you had done your zone of genius, and after I received it and really leaned into it, then it was the Lord who said, with debt free degree, do you want to graduate in the red or do you want to graduate in the black? And I was like, look at that. That to me was one of the greatest acts of love that anyone has done for me, but particularly for you, because that was your zone of genius.
Aw, thanks. So, I mean, that story is precious because that story holds one of our dear friends who's no longer walking this earth, right?
Mhm.
And she saw that in you. And then that way I could bring it into what we were doing together. So, I mean, I think that's the beauty of God and working through me and her to get to where you needed to be.
Yes,
And I think that's the thing is like love is in the little details, right? Because your brand colors are the little details, right? Our brand colors aren't what make us. We think it is because we spend hours trying to figure that out, but it's actually not what makes us. It's how we show up in our business, how we show up to the people we're working with.
yes.
And that's the beauty of it. But we get lost in the details sometimes. And love is a big concept, right? Love's huge. Our
And
hearts are huge.
I think that that's where you're, now that I know that that's your top strength as strategy, I see that because one of the things I will often say about you is you see both the big picture and step A to Z.
Mhm.
I can see the big picture in a lot of things. I frequently will know step maybe XYZ. But
Mhm.
ABC, I don't have the first clue. Like, like Julie talks about reverse chunking. I'm here. I don't know how to go to step one to get us
Mhm.
there. But you see both the big picture and all those little steps. And that's a real gift. I'm sure it's a gift at home and professionally.
Well, I mean, every gift has both sides, right? Not everybody you live with likes to see that I can see so much of the details because we're all made different. And I think
Mhm.
that is the bottom line to love, too, right? We are all created different. And so it's really accepting each other's differences and leaning into those and like, I love a kid who can't see the details like I see. They can't see the overall picture. They just see what they want to, how they're made. And I
Mhm.
think that's the beauty. I mean, and I think for me, like, I never wanted children. That's kind of a joke because I have 5 kids, but that is my story when I graduated from college. And so I really feel like having 5 kids has helped me even more lean into what love really is,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
5 kids bring a lot of personality, a lot of opinions, a lot of everything.
Yes.
And I mean, that's like, that's kind of a funny story, but it is true. It's made me a better human. It's made me love more. It's made me see people differently. And I think raising kids who are not of my same nationality or something has also opened my eyes
Hmm.
hugely to the world we live in and how much we need to learn to love
Yes.
every single person. And it
Yeah.
things don't matter that we think matter. It's what it's in. It's just, like we're all humans. And
Yes.
that's what I think every human feels pain, every human feels happiness, every joy, and just loving big. I
Yeah.
just think that's what the greatest gift of mothering has taught me is to love big.
Yes. Love big. Love big. Love loud. Love
Yeah.
really, really, really loud. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
often talk about agape love, and you made the comment about, sometimes that's hard to do, if you're not getting it back, or, if it's with conditions or whatever. And people will say to me, 8 billion people loving 8 billion people, that's so much emotion for you to carry. That's got to be so hard. And I always say it's not emotion, it's cognitive. It's very much a choice. And I think if people were kind of to give like a gut reaction, I think people would say, I find it easier to love the people that I live with or the people that I work with than the stranger. But in actuality, I think for me, it's the opposite. Because a stranger, I have zero expectations of them. I don't even know them. I can just say, you have a heartbeat. You're on this planet. We're delighted you're here. Here's agape love. It's the people in my house that it's hard to always stay at this agape level because you're interacting all day long every day. Mister, thankfully, makes it like super easy, super, super easy to love him unconditionally because he loves me unconditionally. And it's very, very evident, very, very, very evident. But if there's friction sometimes. So how do you go from this parental love or eros love or brotherly love? How do you do that to take it to the agape level with people you're in relationship with?
So, I mean, I think it's just like it's the number one emotion, if that's the word we want to use, that comes up for me. And I try to think at the end of the day, I want to be grateful for the people that are around me and I want them to feel loved, even if the day felt really hard with
Uh,
them.
yeah.
And I have a story about that just happened this week. So this isn't about somebody who lives with me, but so my story was I was married for 20 years and then it ended in divorce. So of course that brings up a ton of emotions. Well, this week my ex-husband lost somebody in his life that was basically like a brother to him. He was his
Mhm.
cousin, he was a brother, right? It was someone who had
Mhm.
been a part of my life, right? So when you talk about an ex-husband, like I don't love him in that way, but
Mhm.
he's still the father of my children. He still was a part of my life. And it's been an interesting struggle with my heart this week of like really feeling like bad for him and grief for him, knowing what he's walking through because I was part of his life and I was part of this other man's life.
Mhm.
And so those are the kind of situations where like maybe the world would look at me and be like, why would you have any sympathy for him? Why would you have any quote
Beautiful.
unquote like human love for him is what I would say,
Hmm.
because he's done all this or this has happened or whatever. But my humanness knows how bad he's hurting, right?
Yes.
And I still have that kind of human love, not romantic love or anything like that. I mean, those days are all gone, but I still know the pain he's in.
Yes.
And so that's, I mean, those are kind of
Yeah.
touchy, hard situations, but that is what love is to me, is like knowing he is in pain and acknowledging to him when I talk to him about the kid stuff or whatever, like, I'm really sorry for this huge loss in your life. I
Yes.
remember how awesome this guy was in our life.
Yeah.
So I think those are the kind of situations that for me is like really pulling down deep and showing that kind of love to another human who it would be so easy for me to be like, oh well, that's your problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not who I am. And the
Yeah.
world sometimes has a hard time seeing things like that.
Yeah.
But I can't like turn my heart as a human and not realize the pain he's in,
Right.
because
Right.
that wouldn't be right. And I think that's
Beautiful.
how love is, right?
That's a beautiful example. That is a beautiful example because you were married, it is just natural that you both were on the receiving end of conditional love from the other because
Mm-hmm.
neither one of you were perfect. So
Sure.
you were on the receiving end of some things that were hurtful,
Mm-hmm.
and still able to, that's a great example of how to elevate it to that agape love. That's a beautiful example. That's a beautiful example. Well, I also was thinking about for the strategy, and I was thinking about this other way that you love on me is I remember it's probably been about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. I came to you and I said, I thought I was saying something groundbreaking. I was like, I feel like, Love Revolution has three pillars, and I feel like the new direction of Love Revolution is going to diminish the focus on one of the pillars and really increase the focus on another. And I thought it would be earth shattering. And I thought you would be like, wait a minute, we have spent a lot of time focusing on this one pillar. And what do you mean? And I thought, I anticipated that you might go, wait, we're switching gears, or like, what are we doing? And let's plan and whatever. And you go, yeah, I know. I was like, oh, okay. And how loving it is that you held that space for me as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, to be able to do that. And knowing you, I know that I'm not the only client that you do that for. So and I could talk to you for the next 5 hours too. So I want to, kind of wind this down, but I want people to be able to get in touch with you. So what's a great way to get in touch with you? What in that loving sense, that you offer to others, that you offer to me, what do you offer to others? And then tell them how they can get the juicy stuff too.
So I'm rebranding. I'm putting things all in my name. So I'm at terilynnco.com. That's my new website. And that's the easiest place for people. There's all kinds of buttons on there. You can just click and have a call. And yeah, I would love to I love to feed life into people,
Love it.
into whoever's around me. And I believe that is my part of my reason for being here on this earth, is to just really
Beautiful.
just love on people wherever they're at in life.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. TeriLynn.co. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Well, let me tell y'all, part of me wants to say every single one of you watching this, get in touch with her because she's amazing. Part of me wants to say, selfishly, from a non-agape love, from a selfish love, I don't want her to get too busy because then Love Revolution will continue to fall down the priority. And then she's going to be like, I got all these big, massive clients, and you're a solopreneur, and I ain't got no time for you. I don't want her to say that.
Not me. No
No,
way.
she would
No
never.
way.
She would
I
never.
would never do that. No
She
way.
is, Teri is so amazing. So y'all reach out to her. Teri, thank you, thank you, thank you for
Aw,
being
thank
here.
you for
Thank you
doing
for
this with me.
being so amazing. And thank you
Aw,
for being a part of Love Revolution. Thank you for saying yes to 8 billion people loving 8 billion people, one heart at a time.
oh, for sure. Thank you.
All right. Until next time,
Bye.
Love Revolution beloveds. This has been a great interview, and I'll be back with another guest really soon. Thank y'all. Bye bye.
Bye.